I don't know.
Really interesting because I'm used to that long road out there. Well, this thing is like. Right there. Yeah, it was right there. Man, that's proof. Wow.
Okay, sorry we took so long, but we had to have a lengthy discussion about training. Okay, let's go to open forum. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make any comments about anything? No one? Okay, that was easy. Let's go to item 6, swearing in Reserve Officer Brianna Ditmars.
Mr. Mayor, while we're ready to do that, did the previous mayor ever pay for that laptop that Tony walked up with?
He paid all of it but $50.
So he's a deadbeat, yeah?
So he's a deadbeat.
Wondered. You can print that channel like that.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to swear in a new officer tonight. Like I had told y'all previously in other meetings, that the safety and welfare of the city is our concern. We want everybody to be as safe as we can, so doing that, I'm putting people on the street. We have people that have experience and we have people that don't, but they're going to get their experience here. And our officers that do have experience is going to help me with that. Tonight, we're going to swear in a new officer, female officer. And this will be the first female officer that we have as of this time. I'd like to present to you Brianna Ditmars.
Raise your right hand. I, Brianna Ditmars,
I, Brianna Ditmars,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the office of Reserve Peace Officer
of the office of Reserve Peace Officer
of the city of Coffee City,
of the city of Coffee City,
state of Texas,
state of Texas,
and will do to the best
and will do to the best
of my ability
of my ability
preserve and protect
preserve and protect
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state
and of this state
and the charter
and the charter
and the ordinances of this city,
and ordinances of this city,
and I furthermore
and I furthermore
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I have not,
that I have not,
directly or indirectly,
directly or indirectly,
paid, offered,
paid, offered,
or promised to pay,
or promised to pay,
contributed, nor promised to contribute
nor promised to contribute
any money
any money
or valuable thing,
or valuable thing,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment
or employment
as a reward
as a reward
to secure my appointment,
to secure my appointment.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Please sign it.
That's good. Yep.
Okay, next item on the agenda is
Mayor.
quarterly review of our budget. Oh, you have something else?
Could I have one more
Yeah.
30 seconds?
Sorry.
Also, I have another officer here that I introduced y'all to here last month. He was here also the month before and everything. Gregory here, Singfield. Tonight, I'm gonna give him a promotion. He's gonna be my newest sergeant. And he's gonna be administrative. He's also gonna be our lead investigator. So if you ever need anything investigated, call him.
Does he get a salary increase?
Yeah, he's gonna get a salary
Okay. Item 7, quarterly review of the budget. Consider any action upon any necessary changes. So I'm gonna let you and Pam cover that.
You got a
You've
copy,
done all the pencil work on it.
copy of, basically what we did was take
the first 3 months check registers and all the monies that's been spent and compared it back against what 1 quarter would be for the budget that we did in July. You'll see on here there's some dark, bold numbers. Those, for example, under the election expense is $7,000 now. If you remember, in a past meeting, we raised it from an earlier budget number, so that's the reason those were highlighted. The other one was under court income. We had court income, and then down below, we had an area that said court cost. We just, and to clarify that, we just put it as one. We took the court cost that was anticipated back off of that. It's the exact same number. It comes out the same number. So
But what we're doing in that is we're also providing a check register for the municipal account, the security account, and the technical account. So, yeah, the technology account, so everybody knows what was written out of the municipal account. So,
the other thing you'll see there is under Pioneer Collections and Court Income, Shalina has put together a chart, which you have a copy of, that breaks it down exactly month by month, what we got, what went from Pioneer, that the state got, what we got to keep, and on the regular court costs too. You'll also see, she backed it up for a whole year to give us kind of the flow, and that's where we're coming back to the, if you look over under Pioneer, or under court income, for example, $7,008 is the actual income for, that the city kept out of the court revenue. And we had actually budgeted $7,272, so we're pretty good, pretty close for the period. Our actual sales tax income is, you know, $600, 700, less than $700. So we got lucky there. And I don't know if you've looked, but this month we got 11,500 roughly, I think, for sales tax income this month, which is pretty close to what we budgeted. You'll see some notes on there, one time a year, like the $16,000 we've got on the budget for the TVEC franchise fees, monies, and some of that. You can look, the one that we're actually, the worst one of the whole bunch is the Pioneer Collections, and there's not much we can do with that, since that's out of our hands. They're trying to collect old invoices, or old ticket monies. You got anything to add to that, Pam? You did most of the work, actually.
No, I think you're doing great. I think you're doing a good job.
You know, we're overall, there's a lot of places where we haven't spent any money, which is good. So.
Are you gonna discuss the expense section, or just kind of?
Yeah, there's some things that well, I'm gonna let you cover the audit.
Okay.
What you're thinking along the audit.
Okay. Well, that's the first one that's on there
Yeah.
under accounting and audits. You know, we discussed, I guess it was last month or the month before, that we don't have a current audit, but we need one. And so the people that did our audit before, Gollum, Morgan, and Petty, don't wish to do it for us again. And so we've had to shop around, and I've made bukus of lists or whatever and called and found out who all would do an audit. And then I went through and picked several of them to try to set up appointments. And we met with one person, Mr. Roseman, that he was willing to do it in the beginning, but then he ended up having some personnel problems or whatever. And we ended up going with we had a second appointment with John Furlow, is that his name? John Furlow.
Yes.
And he has given us a bid of about $9,600 to cover this year's budget and to actually audit this last year's business. But he has to verify 2012's figures as well, because it just has to be done, so his audit is legitimate. And so that's why he came in as high as $9,600. And so,
Yeah, he made that statement in his.
Still better than the 20,000 the other,
Oh, yeah.
the last one said.
so under accounting and audits, I would like to amend the budget there another $9,000 to make it 10,000. We have 1,000 in there.
So
We're
that's not
doing
an
that.
action item for tonight, though.
Okay,
Let's,
Well,
let's make the budget changes on this expense part of the next meeting.
Okay.
Because we're gonna have to act on this tonight.
okay. And then under auto expense, you'll notice that that is a little out of budget.
Out of
Matter of
control,
fact,
yeah.
it's already reached what we should have spent for the whole year.
Yeah.
And that is just because, basically because you would explain this better than me. I have done a rundown of all the expenses that were in there, and I have a copy of it if you'd like to look at it.
We
But this is the
discovered,
money that's going
we
into it.
discovered, when we were placed in charge here, that the police vehicles, we had 4 police vehicles, and not one of them was fully functional as a police car. And as we got further into it, we discovered that proper interim maintenance was not done. So we've had to spend extra money to bring those cars up to par. We now have 3 cars, we sold 1. We now have 3 fully functional police cars, but there's still a few items that need to be done, like maintenance that wasn't properly done at the periodic periods that they're supposed to, every so many thousand miles or so, you got to do certain things, and none of that was ever done.
I would
And-
like to get with Officer, Chief Malone, sorry, before the next meeting and maybe see where we are and how much more we have left to do, and then we can maybe do that.
Now,
when
the
we get
city
budget.
council did elect to use the proceeds from the sale of the Camaro to make repairs and equipment things.
But we never modified the
vehicles.
budget to show that,
No,
so.
we never modified the budget, but that's basically, we've been trying to use those funds to bring those cars up to standards, so.
I also noticed that our continuing education is higher than what we budgeted for. Again, that's something we need to look at, and I have a printout of what we have spent thus far, and I will give that to y'all, and maybe next month when we get together again, we can, kind of see what to do about that. And I'd also like to comment on the gasoline bill. Our gasoline bill is actually under what we budgeted by about, $400 maybe. And I'd like to publicly thank the fire chief and the police chief for just keeping your eye on that, so we're happy with that. Under the health insurance, you can see that that is over. That is just basically what I'm gonna call a clerical error, because we've been paying the insurance bill as it comes. I think it's like $2,400 a month. It was all being expensed out to health insurance. Part of that should have been taken from a payroll liability. It's some dependent health coverage that one of the employees has. So basically, it's just an accounting thing. That money should have been drawn from a payroll liability rather than an expense account. And so in October, you'll see the adjustment. The rest of the year, it should follow. It should just be fine.
That's what's going to be my question.
And that's really about all I have on that. I don't know, that's about all I have. I do have printouts on a lot of those that are over if anybody wants a copy of it.
Well, I would like to thank Phil and Pam for all of the work that they've done on our budget items and our expense and revenue items, because they've put a lot of time in on it, and I think you can see that, and we're getting it down. They're getting it down to a point now where when we look at this, we'll know more what we're talking about, and it'll be more accurate, so anyway, they've done an excellent job on that. Okay.
All right.
Okay, number 8, consider an act on changing the date for the November council meeting. The council meeting on a normal date would be on Veterans Day, and that is a city holiday. So we need to decide tonight on a date somewhere between November the 13th and the 18th, because we can canvass the votes anytime during the period of 13th and 18th for the upcoming election. So we may as well have the meeting on a night where we can take care of the canvassing of the votes. So is there a date that any of you would prefer?
Is Monday the 18th,
Monday's the
Yes,
18th.
Mondays and 18th,
and our meetings are normally on Monday?
yes.
I would like to make a motion to have it on the 18th, that way we can make sure I understand this correctly, we can take care of the canvassing and the meeting at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah, the only thing, I may have to be out of town traveling that day.
Would you rather have it on Friday, Phil?
Any day but that day. I don't know for sure, but I probably will be gone. I gotta do
The
Oklahoma.
first day that we can canvass
Go
is
see
the
my friends.
13th, it's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's the first day we can
That's
do it.
any, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know what Darlene's work schedule is, and I wanna make sure
I see, that's
that,
right.
that you've got,
Or
quorum.
Will you be here on that Friday, the
15th?
15th?
Are we gonna meet
Yes.
on a Friday night at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes that.
Or Thursday night? Thursday?
What about Thursday?
At 4?
Thursday's fine with me.
If we
No
could check
problem
with
with that.
Darlene maybe before we, well, I guess we
You
need to
think-
decide,
you
because
think- It'll be fine with you?
you'll be here, so
Yeah.
we'll have a quorum.
no problem with that.
All right, let's do it then. We'll set the date on November.
You need a motion.
Yeah, I need a motion to set the date for the November meeting on November the 14th.
I'd like to make a motion that we set the next council meeting for November
And
14th.
it'll be at the same time at 6
Right.
p.m. Okay, can I have a second to that?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We'll have the meeting on 14th of November then. Okay, just want to make an announcement here. Allied Waste Cleanup Days will be October the 19th and the 20th.
Did you really cover that at the same time?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Considering active on the day of the candidacy votes, yeah, we'll do that on the same night, November the 14th.
I'll make a motion, we canvass the votes on the night of the 14th.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
Okay. The meeting and the canvassing the same night. Okay, Allied Waste Cleanup Days will be October the 19th and the 20th. They'll have dumpsters out here in the city hall parking lot like they did last time. And they're also gonna put, I don't know if they're gonna put 2 or 4 dumpsters out there in front of Briarwood Bay entrance. But they're also gonna put dumpsters in the front of Briarwood Bay entrance for
Do
people.
I have them here and there?
Pardon?
Yes, they said it.
Yeah, they're gonna put it right
Make sure I
there at
understand.
the gate going in.
Wonderful.
So people in Briarwood Bay that want to clean up their property can do that. So,
Or on my street.
yeah. Okay, item number 11, we're going to not act on that. The fire department has agreed to take care of that. There's no cost to the city. And we
Thank you, fire
Chris.
department.
Yes.
Okay, consider an act upon annexing FM 3506. When Coffee City was formed, the old road was part of the city. And when the state decided to build the Farm to Market Road 3506, they built most of it off to the side, away from the old road. So a major portion of 3506 is not in Coffee City. The Coffee City boundaries go off through the woods now. Economic Development has given us a letter requesting that the city go ahead and annex 3506. I recently went to a meeting, and Mrs. Gross was there, where our state senator, Robert Nichols, was present. And I asked him about some legislation that had been proposed by some of our legislators to require cities to maintain state highways that go through their cities. And he said, in a city like Coffee City, that would never happen, because Highway 155 and 3506 are state highways that actually just travel through Coffee City for traffic that's going. So that would remain unchanged. So the city would not get any liability of maintenance by annexing 3506. I think Mr. Beggarly's still here. Did you want to make a comment on that, Jim?
The only comments on that are that, on a review of the map there, review of the map, it was noted that, again, the original intent was that road that a lot of us call Roller Coaster Road. Roller Coaster Road was kind of a connector. It was part of the city. The rights of way and all that were Coffee City. And they led to the section and the community over on 315. When the new road was designed and built, for whatever reason, the boundaries, the realignment of the city boundaries did not follow the road. In one case, the road was actually realigned. In another case, a complete whole new section of the road was done. Our point in looking at it was simply from the point of view of the Economic Development Corporation, is that there is the potential for lost sales tax revenue. If anybody was to build a gas station, convenience store, beer store, liquor store, whatever, out there, any sales tax generated would not go to the city if it was located in certain areas there. It would go only to Henderson County and to the state. That was our point of view. There are other considerations there too. For example, the legality of traffic tickets on those roads by city policemen. But again, our intent was just to look at someday in the future, if somebody were to build a tax-generating business there, we would miss it. Now, we do not know the ramifications, the laws of annexation. Ask us and we'll look into it.
Have we had any thought about what this will cost from a legal standpoint?
I'll have to inquire with the city attorney and find out what the possible legal fees would be to do that annexation. There shouldn't be a difficult annexation, because it's only going to be the state.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it'd be even much harder than the bridge, but I think before I would want to vote on it, I'd like to have those numbers.
Okay, we'll have some numbers for that.
Ken is sitting in the audience. Ken, do you know anything about annexing roads as far as width goes, or what is required, or do you know anything on that subject?
I know enough to be dangerous. So, I mean, I have been always perplexed. If you take the annexation of 315, which is basically just the width of the right-of-way, it would, if someone was to build, to use your phrase, a liquor store on 315 between 3506 and, let's say, Turnforth, it's questionable if you would be able to collect that revenue because the actual property is outside of the city limits. I mean, I do agree with the statement just made that the annexation of 3506 was along the old county road, and that realignment needs to take place. But if you were going to go to the expense of annexing the correct portion of 3506 and spend that money, I would ask you to reconsider the earlier annexation of 4202 and get that particular road off of the back of Coffee City to maintain and throw it back on the county to maintain that particular road, because it's very questionable if any development that would bring in sales tax revenue would ever happen on that particular county road. So you could spend your money wisely and accomplish two things at the same time.
Chris is waving his hand.
Yes.
I showed Alderman Weaver that there were some limitations. Now the laws have changed. You gotta be at least 1,000 feet wide, and if you gotta do your meets and bounds, there's 2 blocks there that we've got surrounded by city limits already. And it would be easy just for meets and bounds and purposes, to just annex those 2 blocks because under the same category. And 4202 is, they just built 75 lots down there and they're selling them for $189,000 a piece.
That's residential
Yeah,
stuff.
but I mean, they're looking at the other side of the road where they just built their driveway, which is gonna put, you know, if there's ever, we're talking futuristic, if there was ever a tax, those are $1 million homes down there you'd be giving up. 75 of them.
Okay, we'll do some more investigation on this issue for next meeting. So we'll,
Table it?
yeah, table that issue for this meeting. Okay, consider and act upon investment policy and strategy. I attended a meeting in Galveston last month and got information on things that we are supposed to do. Even though we don't have a whole lot of money to invest, we are required to have an investment policy. And they supplied us with a generic version. And I had Angela put it in the computer and make the changes to show that it's for Coffee City. I think all you council would have had chances to read that. It's just basically it says that we're not supposed to invest the city's money in investments that might not be any good. We have to invest in government bonds. We can't just go invest in securities. So there's a couple of things here we need to fill in on this. Item number 3 where it says objectives and they're referring to WAM, that's weighted average maturity is what that means. The cities that have a lot of money to invest, they invest portions of their money that matures at different times that to meet what their cash flow needs are. And in our particular case, we might want to consider nothing in excess of 12 months. Talks about investment responsibility, the investment officers.
On our copy on number 5, is that what you're speaking of?
Yes.
The copy that we have had a little clerical error in there, and so she's retyped it for you there, but ours don't reflect that. You'll see William right here. That doesn't make sense. The and will be designated for that. So there's supposed to be some spaces in there.
Yes.
The blank and the blank will be delegated to.
Yes, it's on the corrected one here.
The blank and the
Delegation of
blank.
responsibility, investment officers. I would suggest the mayor and the mayor pro tem. The city council still has to name the investment officers.
I thought we did that last week.
That
I
was
thought we did too.
naming me as a financial.
We named him.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you agree with that, Mayor pro tem, for investment officers?
I don't like it, but
I do.
yeah.
Agencies and instruments, the maximum stated maturity is item number 7A.
It's on
I would
page
say
4.
not to exceed 1 year. I think those are all the ones we have.
I just wish we had the funds that would make this work.
This is only a requirement, not that we have the money. Okay, the city council would like if I have a motion from somebody to accept this policy with the principal changes that we made to show the mayor and mayor pro tem or investment officers.
I make the motion that we accept the policy and make it a mayor pro tem as our
Okay.
investments officer.
And also the maximum maturities of a year, and I think that's it.
I would second that with the two fill-in blanks that we had 12 months in the year.
Okay, do I have a second? Oh, second I have. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. It's passed. You got that, Angela?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Item 14, consider an act upon Coffee City hosting the next mayor's luncheon in January. The county has started having a luncheon quarterly of all of the mayors in the county. And the different city each quarter is paying for the meal. It's $200. I told them, I said, I'll volunteer Coffee City. I said, I may have to pay it out of my own pocket, but I'll take that chance. So,
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Sorry, go ahead.
I do have a question about, before we do the motion, what fund is that gonna come out of?
do we have, we'll have to look and see what we're gonna put in before we bring it up to the council next month.
Oh, we're not doing it now?
No, we're not gonna do that part of it now. We'll do this. We'll go ahead and approve payment of it. We'll have to decide what we're gonna charge it to.
No, I think that's putting the cart before the horse.
Okay.
I mean, to me, you're appropriating $200, but where are you gonna get it from? I mean, what account are you thinking about pulling that money out of?
General fund.
Well, I know general fund, but
Which
is it
account?
gonna be accounting and audits? Is it gonna be advertising? Is it gonna be, we've got $1,000 budgeted for advertising.
It would be advertising, since we're advertising the city.
Advertising, yeah.
Okay, I would just like to know
Yeah.
that before we
We have
say what
plenty of leeway there.
So when we get asked, and we will.
Yeah. Okay, have a second on approving that?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Sorry to give you a hard time, but
Yeah, it's all right. Consider an act upon Judge Bivens going to the Regional Judges Seminar, November the 18th through the 20th in Austin. Total fee for that is $546.03. This is a required class, is that correct?
Does that come out of the court fund?
Basically, it does, I think, yeah.
No. Good, they got $569.
Yeah.
then I would like to make a motion that we send Judge Bivens to the Regional
Second to
Judges
that.
Seminar.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Consider an act upon hiring CPA to audit books for no more than $10,000. And we have a offer in here from John Furlow for $9,600. And I think he's probably gonna be the best one for the job. Do I have a motion that we go ahead and send him a notice that we're going to enter into an agreement with him?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, we will send him a notice then.
Okay, so I need to add that to the amended budgets as we go through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's 96.
9,600, that's under legal fees.
There goes all of our surplus, isn't it?
Yep.
Needs to be done, though.
Yep.
Has to be done.
Well, we're required to do it.
Okay, next item is mayor's report. I don't have a whole lot to say tonight. This has become a lengthy meeting because of our executive session at the beginning, so I'm not going to make any comments on the mayor's report. Economic development, Bruce Harvard is not here tonight. You had the figures for that?
I do, I have the
Okay, you wanna read
figures.
those?
The Southside Bank account, they had the sales tax deposit of $57.75, gave an ending balance of $129,129.87, and there were no checks written. Austin Bank, we had no disbursements last month. That balance is $36,986.
Thank you. Municipal court report.
Okay, for the month of September, we had 47 new cases filed. One was dismissed after proof of financial responsibility. 3 for completing the driver's safety course. There were 8 equipment violations that were repaired. 1 warrant was issued. We had 11 that were deferred disposition. Those were cleared. We had a total revenue for the month of $5,310. We had to pay our quarterly taxes. That was $4,714. And total revenue for the quarter was $13,081. And according to our little spreadsheet that Phil helped me with, we're gonna deposit $8,100 from municipal into the general fund tomorrow.
Thank you, police report.
This will be for the month of September. Had 2 vehicle accidents. Calls for service was 20. We had 3 burglaries, 1 theft, 1 assault. We had 4 call-outs. Agency assist, we did 3 of those. We arrested 6 people. This is for a total of 24 between the call-outs and the calls for service.
Thank you. Fire report.
$26 calls per month, 2 building fires, 4 rubbish and grass, 8 medicals, 2 trees, 2 boats. I thought we'd have more boat calls, but that's the good thing about when there's more people on the lake, they can help people in. I mean, Mr. Rutledge gets dragged them in himself, so. Burn ban violations, 2 public services. We currently have 12 firefighters. We got 1 new prospect. The only thing new here is I was elected the vice president for Northeast Texas Firefighters Fire Marshals Association. That's basically 25 counties, 332 departments. If you go Henderson County due north and Henderson County due east, that little corner. So,
Congratulations.
we just, last week we just finished Eastman up there. We're up there 4 days. It was an excellent school we did up there. Our fire chief school is the 26th of October. That's an annual event there in Athens. Square Fair, of course, is the 26th. We'll be there. Trunk or Treat will be there. Smalley Foundation will be here on November the 5th. I know it's election day, but they normally shut down at 7. We're going to fall in right behind them. And that's basically an Atmos or a gas type class that we teach all the fire departments and the fire department members. And that foundation was created due to a tragic accident. So CPR is 9 November. We're going to try to teach the police how to do CPR on 9 November. There'll be fire people there too, but Extrication class, be 15, 16, 17 November, and it'll be here, we're hosting that, so. Y'all drive by and see about 8 or 9 cars trashed out here, that's what that's for, so. Other than that, we have any questions or?
I'd just like to say thank you for fixing the hole that, I guess it's leaked a little bit, but it's much better.
It's settled and we'll be back through there. I was gonna say, that's a continual fight right now, but if we can wait till March or April like we've talked about, and they have to, if we can make it till then we can, get Commissioner Geisling to help us fix it. Just all.
Did you want to speak about the ISO rating or anything about that? You want to wait till next month, or? The reason I'm bringing this up is I've kind of been on Mr. Fire Chief's back for a while about getting our ISO rating, or getting us rated. It affects your homeowner's insurance.
Right.
And so if we can get a little bit better rating, then, you know, it'll help us in the long run.
I'm hoping with the savings that we get that we can get a few people to take a small percentage of that savings and donate it to us. But,
there you go.
But what it is basically we sent in a request about 6 months ago, and it fell upon deaf ears. And then Mayor Pro Tem came in and told me we need to get this done. So I made a trip to Austin, and them people do not like to see you. I called them. I told them, I said, I'm coming. We don't have a venue for that. Well, I'll be there. We're going to look at somebody eyeball to eyeball. Somebody signing for it. We don't have a venue for that. Well, then it turned out we had a 9:30 meeting. They got a boardroom with about 20 chairs and tables, nice, like this. But you can't walk up to them like our business and open the door. You got to go up there, and they come out there like, I was going to say crackheads, we can't say that, rockheads. And they look through the window to make sure who it is before they buzz the door open. But anyway, we're going to try sometime before the year ending is out. Yeah, that's what I did. I stood like that so they could see they knew that we had a meeting. But we're going to try before the end of the year to get at least the administrative part of the test done. We can do the tanker shuttle and the water supply done. We're believing we're going to probably get at least an 8B. If any of y'all want to go home and look at that. We're shooting for an 8A city and an 8B and what they call OPA. 8A would be like Coffee Landing Road, High Saw, Briarwood, Royal Forest, inside the city limits. OPA, I don't know why they call this, but they're insurance people, you gotta understand that. They call that outside the protection area, which it's not, but would be like Lollipop, the resort, 4222, you know, some places are 21 and 17. The reason for that is shoveling the water. We got to flow 250 gallons a minute for 20 minutes to get an 8B. We got to flow it for 2 hours to get an 8A. So it depends on where the guy takes the dart, where we got to pump from. Heaven forbid he does it where there's a hydrant. We got it made. But odds are they'll probably do it, you know, somewhere there's not a hydrant. So, but we've been constantly doing the inspections and been keeping Mayor Pro Tem Gross up on the deal of how we're doing our inventories, and there's a few things that we're working on, but I think we're going to be, we may get better than 8A or 8B. But
what's your time frame?
You want me to tell you what your time frame is?
Time frame was last year, but
I mean, what do you realistically expect something to?
Probably November, probably before Thanksgiving, but I don't want to hold.
So somebody from the state actually comes out here and does this?
Oh, yeah, they're from the insurance people, people. They'll come down and review all our records and our trucks, and they'll count all the tools and bolts and nuts and NIMS requirements, and which is stuff we've been constantly working on. And I think we're good on that. Our big test will be the pumping of the water. And, you know, if they put us by a creek, you know, we're good there too. We got a floating pump that flows 300 gallons a minute. So we don't know where the guy's gonna throw the dart. So that's the big thing. Yes, sir.
And Chief, you mentioned the CPR course on the 9th of November.
Yes, sir.
Who's that open to?
Well, right now it's pretty full because we got firemen and police officers, but we hold the CPR classes periodically, and I normally try to put it on upcoming events, and we'll do citizens, and also if I can get at least 10 citizens together, we'll hold it for them. And when we'll travel to daycares and teach it to them, and healthcare professionals, and
What kind of donation do you need for that?
as much as they got. Now, and I say that jokingly, but if they want to keep the book is $25. If they just need the card, it's $10. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but, and some of the stuff they're doing now on the CPR and Red Cross, it's Red Cross or American Heart, they're having you do all the administrative stuff online. Then you'll come here, or if you're a daycare, we'll go there and do your skills. Because sometimes it's hard to get the daycare people away, so we'll go there and, you know, test them one at a time and get that done. But we'll do whatever it
Have they
takes.
changed the CPR technique recently?
Oh, yeah, it changes all the time.
They do just chest compressions and not the breathing?
Well, they're doing 30 and 2 now, and it's fixing to do some more changes. There's some more changes coming. They believe that with the compressions, you're getting enough air in. But the circulation is the important part, and they're afraid that when you stop, it stops the circulation. But it's constantly evolving. And of course, we carry jumper cables with us, so, you know, we're gonna put it on them. So, but, I mean, we're doing, well, like, when I had a meeting with Alderman Weaver earlier, we was out on a call for a guy, and then we were ready to hook him up, and he started waking up. So, it's a good deal. Any other questions? If you want to, just call me and I'll let you know, we'll schedule a date.
All right, before we adjourn, does anyone else have anything they'd like to say about our meeting tonight? Okay, I have a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Ken.
I did want to say to you, we have the road list, and I'd hoped to have been started by now, but I will put the blame on Apex. They've had plants down. We've got one road that we're resurfacing, and we've been held up on it because of the lack of material. So I didn't want to jump on it and have substandard material. So as soon as the plants are all back up operating, we'll get on it. Hopefully, you've all noticed the work we've been doing on 4217, clearing out all the brush.
Yes.
A few folks have said it's been a long time since it's been that clear down there.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'll go take a look, I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen that one? Well, they've been there for a month, so.
Ken, have you got a second real quick?
Sure.
Can you show me something here on the map?
And a few people have asked, after talking with my family, I have decided I will be running for re-election.
Along with I tell you? You gonna jump along with what I tell you? What's that? Oh, no. I'm not that magnanimous.
I guess this is the new road here.
I know. I may tell them via the website. I think that would make another good article on the
It's always
subject.
good to see you again and so forth there. I don't know if I'm gonna have anything interesting to say to you.
I did have a couple of questions.
No, of course not. Yes, okay.
Would you like to get in her name?
Yeah, it's up to you.
It works better for me.
Fine.
Okay.
I'll tell him everything. Is he gonna talk to you too? Huh? Is he gonna talk to you too? Huh? How you doing, J-Tub?
Don't talk to me, don't keep on me, but you need to talk to.
There's several things we need to approve and change on They don't want to face it.
it's real sad, but, put up over 2 years now, you know,
Yeah, well, I had one about this, kayak. It's a story about me, it's a little long story.
They're interviewing him. Boy, the fire chief sure stuck his foot in his mouth about that property tax shit, didn't he? I'm glad I was filming that.
That's why he talked Broward Bay into it.
Because Geldy wanted property tax.